Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. In today's video, we'll be talking about Jahan Dotson, about him working out with OBJ, Zay Flowers, and Elijah Moore, and how he says this year will be a breakout year for him. I'll talk about some expectations for the offense as well, and Chase Roulier's retirement. If you guys are new, hit that subscribe button, also hit that like button and the notification bell as well. Those three things takes 3 seconds, and it really helps out a ton, and it's free, so please go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead and get started. So we'll talk about the Jahan Dotson thing first, and then we'll get into the Chase Roullier retirement at the end of the video. So I'll show you guys the clip first of Jahan, working out with OBJ, Zay Flowers, and Elijah Moore. And I think it's great that he's working out with these guys. Zay Flowers is a first-round rookie out of Boston College who's, playing for the Ravens, of course. Odell Beckham Jr. needs no introduction, and I love that Jahan is training with him because OBJ is one of the most talented receivers, of this generation, and I think, him working with Jahan is, going to help him out a ton, and he has a lot of things that he can teach Jahan. So I'll go ahead and show you guys this clip. There's OBJ, and I'll be talking over, no audio, because, there might be some copyright issues there. You see Jahan, and that's not Jahan, but it's not Jahan either, but I think the next one might be Jahan. Nope. The next one will be Jahan there. There you go. Looking really, really good and explosive there. And you guys can see some other guys, running their routes. There's a nice one-handed catch. There's OBJ. Nice quick release there. Good footwork. And I think Jahan has like one or two more clips, and then we'll call it a day. There's Jahan running quick, tracking down the ball, and making the catch. So nothing much, just some nice quick clips from the offseason, and just shows he's working, and he's not the one posting it, but he's working with these guys, and I think that's huge because you always want to work on your craft with others at your position. And Zay Flowers is going to be a good receiver in this league. Elijah Moore is a solid, very talented receiver, and then you got, of course, OBJ. So yeah, just quick there, nothing much, but it gives us kind of a little bit of a talking point with Jahan. And then he was on a podcast recently. I'm not going to play the audio, but you guys can read it while I'm talking. And he talked about, he thinks this is going to be his breakout year. And then they talk about his last season where he had 7 touchdowns in 5 games. And you guys can, see the rest, what he's talking about right there. But he is expecting a big year. He's expecting a big year for him. And last year was just kind of, his trial year. And this year is going to be the big year for him. He talked about how a lot of teams passed up on him, and he felt disrespected by that and had to show out in his first game. So yeah, Jahan Dotson had a really good year. He is so talented. Like, he might be more talented than Terry. Does not mean he's a better receiver than Terry. He's not close to the receiver Terry is right now. Maybe he will be eventually. Maybe he'll be close to him this year. But at this point, Terry's the best receiver on this team. He's the alpha dog in that receiver room. He is the one. He's had 3 1,000+ yard seasons with terrible quarterback play, and Jahan hasn't hit 600 yet. He would have hit 600, probably would hit like 750 if he didn't get hurt. But we got to give Terry McLaurin his respect. I remember last offseason, I did make videos about it, but there were quotes from Kevin Sheehan and some other guys that some people think inside the Commanders, team, that Jahan was the best receiver. And that was in like training camp and mini camp last year. And I just thought that was completely ridiculous before he even took an NFL snap. But hey, he was doing well in the offseason, started out on fire, then got hurt, and kind of came back pretty slow. Like, they barely gave him the ball too. Like, if you look at, so I think he came back, it might have been like the Vikings game or the Eagles game, I believe so. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was the Eagles game. Had 2 catches in his first 3 games for 27 yards. Like, that's nothing. And that really, obviously these 5 games that he missed were unfortunate, but these 3 games with only 27 yards really lowered his per game production. And there's a few reasons for this. One, I'm sure in the Eagles game especially, he's just coming back from an injury. They don't want to, rush him back. But then 2, they were running these 3 games were like the peak of them running. Like they ran so much in these 3 games where Terry was really the only receiver getting the football, and then he started getting some. Got that really nice touchdown. I think that was a 28-yard touchdown grab. Had that nice spin move against the Giants, and then I guess had another touchdown against the Giants in the second game. I don't remember that one. Had a nice touchdown in the 49ers game. Also dropped a 75-yard touchdown in the opening quarter from Heineke. Would have been nice there for his season totals. And then last 2 games had about 110 yards total and 6 catches, and had a little nice connection there with Sam Howell. So that's kind of the review for him. And I did a little calculation. This is like 6 months ago, but just going over like his per game stats. And if he would have played 17 games, this is what his stats would have been. On I basically what I did to get this. I averaged his stats per game and multiplied it by 17. So 741 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 50 catches. But then if you take out those last 3 games, or those not last 3 games, but the 3 games he had the low production in right here, and you put it with like the average of these games and the first games, he's probably looking at like 850 as his total, which is or more. I'll actually do it later on, and I'll put it in the description, or I'll just tweet it out. That's a good plug right there. Go ahead, follow my Twitter right here at Pedro Schmith YT, and yeah, go ahead and follow that for sure. But yeah, I think Jahan is very talented, and this year 1 to year 2 is usually where the players take the biggest leaps. So for Jahan, if we can get I think 1,000 yards isn't too much to ask for Jahan. Give me 1,000 yards for Jahan. And if he's at 950, that's fine. Or if he's at like 850 and he played 14 games, that's also fine. He just needs to be around 1,000 yards, on a season total. If he does miss games, again, that's calculated into his, 17 game total. That's fine. Like if he goes 14, but it's like around 850, that's on track to get 1,000. That's fine. But he needs just to be around that 1,000 mark, and I think it'll be a successful season. Get another 5, 6, 7 touchdowns. Like I don't expect his touchdown production to be the same. Like he had 7 touchdowns in 12 games, and he had 7 touchdowns in 12 games, and again, 3 of those games he barely played and barely got touches. So if you take out those games, it would have he would have been on pace for like 12 or 13 touchdowns. So he's a red zone threat more than Terry is. And I hope Eric Bieniemy involves Terry a little bit more in the red zone for sure. And I think, that's it in terms of Jahan. This offense, I said I would talk about expectations for this offense, but I don't know if we have enough time. But this offense, I think it'll be solid. It just all depends on Sam Howell. And I'll make another video on that. And then Chase Roullier, he is retiring. Unfortunate situation there. We released him because last 2 years he's had brutal injuries, and he was a really, really good 6th-round pick for us. One of the better centers in the league for from 2019 to 2021. Like he was a really good center for a few years there, but got hurt, battled injuries, and he got paid. That's the biggest thing. He got paid. He's gonna have enough money, more than enough money, to live the rest of his life and pass on that wealth to his kids and probably their kids as well if he manages it well. So good for him. I think it's the right move. Like obviously it would be cool if he could play again, but he has enough money where he's probably chilling and he can just retire and focus on his health, because that's the biggest thing. And 6 years, his knees might be screwed up or his legs, but it'll probably be fine eventually, especially with the level of care he's gonna get. And then also retiring after 6 years is probably good for his head as well, because we know all that CTE. So yeah, it is what it is. But just want to thank Chase Roullier for everything he did with the Commanders. Was one of the better players in a really bad period of time we've had the last 6 years. While he was here, it was bad, but he was one of the few bright spots we had. So just want to thank him and wish him nothing but the best in his future. And hey, he retired a Commander. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace, guys.